If you're stuck thinking that Kia is all about sensible family cars and practicality, well, think again. You see, the Sportage is here to shatter all those misconceptions. It is developed alongside the Hyundai Tucson, and it is the rebel of the compact crossover world. And it's here to dominate. So this is the 5th generation of Kia Sportage, and ever since 2016, it has been Kia's #1 selling vehicle in their lineup. It's designated as a compact crossover and slots between Kia's Seltos and the 3-row Sorento. Let's go ahead and dive into it. And by diving into it, we're going to start off with the different models offered here. So the Sportage is offered in a regular gas-powered powertrain. You have a hybrid powertrain, and you have a plug-in hybrid powertrain. This one that we have here is the hybrid powertrain. That's what we're going to be focusing on the most in this video. And while you get a ton of trims in the regular gas engine variant, the hybrid is matched down to 3 trims. You're looking at an LX, an EX, or an SX Prestige. And what we're driving here is the SX Prestige hybrid variant. And in my opinion, this is a devilishly handsome machine. Clad in a menacing matte gray paint, it demands attention. The LED projector headlamps cut through the night like a predator stalking its prey, and those gloss black accents on the wheel arch molding and side sill moldings really go great with this shadow matte gray paint. All the accent pieces that we get here on this SX Prestige are the icing on the cake, adding an extra touch of aggression to its already striking presence. We also get great features like the LED fog lamps here on the SX Prestige. We have low profile gloss black roof rails. We have 18-inch matte gray alloy wheels, which look really good with this paint scheme. And of course, the rear LED combination taillights. And of course, a Sportage badge and the HEV badge to let you know that that is a hybrid powertrain under the hood. Again, overall, I think it is a really handsome and good looking vehicle. And this is a compact crossover. If you're looking at the total size of this thing, we're talking about 183.5 inches in total length. The wheelbase is 108.5 inches. Total width is 73.4 inches and height is 65.4 inches. Ground clearance on the front-wheel drive variant is 7.1 inches and all-wheel drive variant is 8.3 inches. This is the all-wheel drive, so we do have 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which we'll talk more about as we drive it, but that's definitely a good number for a compact crossover. All right, let's move along quickly to the rear hatch and talk about some of the cargo volume and stuff that you get here in the rear of the vehicle. Starting off with, it does have a smart lift tailgate. If you stand behind the tailgate with the key in your pocket, it'll beep a few times and power lift, or you can hit a button down here, or of course there's a button inside or a button on the key fob. But the cargo volume. So with this, we're talking about best in class cargo volume here. You're talking about 39.5 cubic feet of cargo volume total, which is massive for a compact crossover. Of course, you can fold down that second row seating and get a total of 73.7 cubic feet of cargo volume. All right, and let's close that thing up and let's pop the hood, talk about the engine under the hood, what powers this thing. And under the hood here, obviously, a hybrid power plant. You're looking at a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and full parallel hybrid system. 227 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque. Has a combined MPG of 38 miles per gallon and is matched up to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And if we're talking about the plug-in hybrid, it has the same powertrain, but that one's pushing 261 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, and is rated at 84 mpge combined. Now the gas power plant for the non-hybrid or plug-in hybrid version is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated with 187 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque, gets from 25 to 28 miles per gallon combined, and is matched up to an 8-speed automatic transmission. All right, with that, let's go ahead and move on to the interior, starting with the back seats. All right, we're here in the rear seats of the Sportage, and quite frankly, they're really good. So I have plenty of knee room here, plenty of foot room, just enough headroom. I'm 6'1", bigger guy, but I fit back here just fine. We did plenty of trips in this thing with the kids, 3 wide, no issues. So for a compact crossover, it's a good size. Some of the features and quirks that you get back here, first is this headrest has like a grab handle on it, is the only thing I can think. Kids thought it might have been for like a iPad or a phone, but it really doesn't sit in there well. The only other thing I can think of is a grab handle. Okay. You also get your own AC vents back here. On the sides of each seat is a USB-C charging port. And then of course a pull down armrest with cup holders. And the seats back here are really nice material, same as the front seats. We've got the panoramic sunroof that comes all the way back here to the rear seats. We'll open it up as we jump in front, which we should do right now. And I'll show you all the niceties and tech that the driver gets to play with. All right, in the driver's seat, first thing to notice are these nice seats. More bucket seats with a little bit of bolstering. This red leather, perforated leather with red stitching, I think looks really good. And then you've got black interior with this gray carbon fiber looking trim. All really nice for a premium prestige trim level. Let me go ahead and show you around by kicking it on first. All right, and immediately the first thing you should notice are the dual 12.3-inch panoramic displays. This is in the Prestige and the EX package. Base trim gets an 8-inch screen, but still gets a 12.3-inch driver information display. If you've seen any of my Kia reviews of recent, I really do like Kia's UX design. I really like the gradiated purple icons. I think it all looks really good. Quite frankly, much more premium looking than some of the premium vehicles that I've driven. Obviously, you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto connections, everything that you would expect from a modern techie vehicle. Below that is yet another screen. And again, if you've seen some of my recent Kia reviews, namely the EV6, the Niro, they all have this setup. So it's all your AC and heat controls, which is great, but you can hit the button right here and it flips to all your radio controls and will flip back automatically. I think it's a really great use of space and a great use of this sort of display and knobs that will do separate functions based on where you're at. Below that, you have a USB Type A and USB Type C ports. This one's charging only. This one is the one that you would interface with your infotainment system. So if you want to do Apple CarPlay, you have to plug in with USB Type A. Of course, you do have a wireless phone charger down here. So it's easy to throw the phone down there and wirelessly charge it, even if you're wirelessly doing Apple CarPlay. Further back, our button for the push button start. You can see here we have heated seats and cooled seats, as well as a heated steering wheel. And this gloss black definitely is a fingerprint and smudge magnet. You have your electronic gear shifter here. Twist it for drive. Twist it back the other way, all the way for reverse. We do have a full 360 camera with your backup camera. You also have a button back here behind the gear shifter that you can push to activate that camera. And that's still the backup camera, but you can switch the views here and get a good look around the vehicle. Really nice. And back in this little area, you also see your parking sensors that you can turn off, your auto hold button, hill descent control, very cool because we do have all-wheel drive. Talk a little bit more about that later. And we have our drive modes, including a lock. Drive modes include an eco, a sport, a smart, and a snow mode. Pretty much all week we've been driving it on the eco. Again, we'll talk more about these as we drive it. Obviously, we do have our cup holders down here too, with a little adjustable thing for your cup size. Nice armrest, not super padded, but nice leather and a good sized cubby there. Of course, we've already brushed past a few times, but the steering wheel here is really nice. Black leather, black stitching, You do have your steering wheel controls on either side for your safety features and cruise control, and for your radio controls and things like that. We also do have paddle shifters here for that 6-speed automatic transmission. And of course, again, the driver information display, fully digital. You can thumb through and get different information on the screen. As you saw, as you change drive modes, the whole thing does change. Very cool setup, I think. And in that driver information display, you do have blind spot monitor. So as you turn your signal on, you will get a video feed from your camera showing what's in your blind spot. And I've used those quite a bit in the past, especially in Kia cars. But in SUVs, I usually find that they're a bit too low, and just looking at your mirror is much easier, but they're always kind of nice to have. We also do have a Harman Kardon premium audio system with Halo Sonic, 400 watts and 8 speakers. And in an unscientific study, it sounds good. And of course, we also have that panoramic sunroof that does what panoramic sunroofs do. But of course, it's way too hot in Texas to leave something like that open. This SX Prestige also has what Kia dubs remote smart parking assist. And we are out here in an open remote parking lot, no cars around or anything. But the point of this feature is if you're in a really tight spot or somebody gets too close and you can't get in through the driver door or something like that, you're supposed to be able to start the car and back it out of the spot without having to get in the car, or of course get it into the parking spot without having to be in the car. So I think the way that you do this is you hit the lock, you hold the remote start, and with it being a hybrid, it's kind of difficult to tell if it started or not. And it just kicked on, so it's definitely started, but then you hit and hold the reverse button. All right, we got some visual indicators, and it's starting to back up. And of course, it's got the sensor, so if you're in the way, it will automatically stop and not hit you, even though I'm still holding it down. And of course, we can go back into the parking spot. And of course, if there was a car or a wall or something in the front, it would automatically stop it. But we can just let go and stop the vehicle. Now, do I think this is a feature worth investing your money in to get this package? No. I've had it on several Hyundais, several Kias, and during day-to-day driving throughout my testing week, I never use it. I've only used it to just show off to people that it can do it and to test for these reviews. But quite frankly, it's more of a kind of party gimmick, unless I guess if you live in a really compact city where you're parking in really tight spots a lot. Otherwise, especially here in Texas, I don't see a huge use for it, but it's cool. All right, enough goofing off. Let's get this thing out on the road. So first off, it is a hybrid. It is pretty quiet. You can hear when the engine kicks in and starts going. I do like the plug-in hybrid option where you actually get battery power and you can go in EV mode for a stint. But this one being hybrid is definitely going to influence that fuel economy for the better, which is great. And you actually get more power in this thing. It's not a rocket ship, but it's not a slouch either. You can push on the gas even in eco mode and it'll get up and go. As you saw, we do have a sport mode, so we can flip over to sport mode. And it feels about the same, quite frankly. I've driven the whole week in just eco mode or smart mode. Smart is kind of a balance between eco and power, but again, there's not a ton difference. If you push on the gas, it's gonna go. There's a little bit of lag, mainly because of the turbocharged engine, but that 6-speed automatic transmission shifts really well. You can feel it downshift and really get you into the gear that you need to be in. And when you're just cruising, it's nice and smooth. Thankfully, Kia and Hyundai don't use CVTs as much as other manufacturers, and these things feel really good. And of course, I've driven this thing basically everywhere throughout the week that I've had it. Had it on backcountry roads like we're doing now. Had it in the suburbs, grocery shopping, driven downtown Dallas. Just yesterday, we put about 100 miles on it, going from where we're at towards Plano, northern Plano, then back towards downtown Dallas, and then way back to where we are now. Did a lot of running around, and this thing's super smooth and super efficient. During the full week that I've had it, we've been averaging 34.1 miles to the gallon. That's with pushing it a bit while testing out that sport mode and whatnot. That's with letting it idle as we do pictures and video and stuff. And again, just normal day-to-day driving, no hyper mileage or anything like that. Of course, the EPA rating is 38 combined, so you could definitely get a little bit better if you are paying attention or caring too much. The kind of quirky and interesting thing about that rating is that it's 38 city, 38 highway, and 38 combined, something you don't really see often. But that hybrid powertrain is definitely helping keeping it as efficient as possible, even on the city streets where efficiency usually struggles more. The SX Prestige that we're in here does have the all-wheel drive package. It comes only in all-wheel drive, and with the all-wheel drive you get 8.3 inches of ground clearance, so a pretty good step up from the front-wheel drive model. And this thing is actually no slouch on most off-road trails. We actually did have this one out on an off-road trail at an event last year, and it did great. And if you're getting the gas over the hybrid, the X line is a really good trim. It's not a top line trim, but it is a good trim there, and gives you more of that rugged feel. So if you do some camping or you're some off-road trails every once in a while, I think that's the one to go for. But even this hybrid has no issues, and I would imagine that plug-in hybrid with the extra torque, that will be fun off-road as well. All in all, I think it's just a great platform, a great vehicle. It's a good size, even for small families. The tech in here is really great if you're into automotive tech, which I am. I like the design. I could see it being kind of controversial if some people like it or not, but I do like it, and I think it's appealing to a younger generation. Really love the interior in here. Driving this thing, everything's easy to touch, easy to control. I always ask myself, what about a vehicle just drives me crazy or really irks me, picks at me while I'm driving it for the week? And quite frankly, this one has none. Of course, with Kia, you also get their safety technology, including their lane keeping assist technology and radar guided cruise control. Two things that I really like and work really well in the Kia. And it's easy to do. You've got a button here for your lane keeping assist and your cruise control. You just set it and let it do most of the work. Obviously, it's not fully hands off. You need to stay paying attention, keep your hands on the wheel. But as far as the field goes, Kia, Hyundai do really well in this technology. And this isn't even a road with really great lines on it. So it doesn't have to be the highway, it doesn't have to be a super well painted road. It just has to be able to recognize where you're at. With that, it's worth diving into the price. The base LX hybrid trim starts at $27,000, which I think sounds really good. This one, the SX Prestige, has a base price of just over $36,000. We have a few small options on here, but most everything that's on this thing comes standard, and our full MSRP is just over $38,000. So a compact crossover pushing $40,000 is not ideal. That's a lot of money, but you're getting a lot of vehicle here. And of course, this is the top of the line trim with all the bells and whistles that you probably don't necessarily need, especially like that remote parking assist. Although I really do like this interior with the infotainment system and everything, and the heated and cooled seats, and the hybrid powertrain is definitely the way to go for day-to-day driving over the gas trim. But before we get in the weeds too much more, let's go ahead and pull back over. I'll give you some of my final thoughts on this Sportage, along with what I think about some of the competition, and we'll wrap up the video there. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so what can I say? I really like the Sportage. If you're going for the gas-powered variant, I think the X-Line is a great trim to jump into. If you're looking for more fuel efficiency, the hybrid variant or the plug-in hybrid are both really great options. Obviously, you step up more in price jumping into the plug-in hybrid, but if you're going for max efficiency, that thing will give it to you. And I really like the idea of the plug-in hybrids. I think a lot of manufacturers skipped right over hybrid and plug-in hybrid and went straight to EV, which is cool too, but the peace of mind of a plug-in hybrid with the efficiency that you get is a really great combination. There's obviously a ton of competition out there for this in the compact crossover segment, and quite frankly, all of them are really great vehicles. But if you're looking for something that's stylish, that has a really great interior, has really great tech, especially tech that is standard on the car, great powertrain options, and really just a design that stands out in the crowd, I think the Kia Sportage is a great option. With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Sportage, especially the hybrid variant. If you're into automotive reviews, please subscribe to the channel. We do a different review every week. Also, go check out txgarage.com for more written reviews, as well as event and news coverage over there by a lot of great authors. Really worth showing them some love. But with that, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching.